So September 6, 2024, Conor McGregor teases a 2025 presidential run in Ireland. I am the only logical choice. And now 3 months later, Conor McGregor eyes U.S. relocation as commercial damages in Ireland pile up. Geez, it's so weird. It seems like everyone who's a big name in any of these countries who gets on the wrong side of the deep state ends up going to jail or having their life destroyed. Andrew Tate, now Conor McGregor. I'm sure this is all unrelated, you guys. I'm sure 8 women on the jury, which never ever happens. Probably a coincidence. Probably not rigged, dude. It was probably a coincidence. All right, so we got a Conor McGregor video here because Conor McGregor is fleeing Ireland and moving to the United States full time because the fallout from the case that he just lost is piling up, and they're talking about like he's losing all of his money, he's losing all his sponsorships, the Irish market is drying up for him completely. He talks about the UK, like the UK market too. Like, so he's scrambling. I knew this was happening. This is exactly why I talked about this case so much. But he's saying apparently that the United States market is not as harsh on him, and there are people in the United States still willing to sponsor him, I guess. And so anyway, we're going to go through this entire story. We're also going to talk about 2 other stories. One having to do with Conor here, where him and Demetrius Johnson got into it, related to Demetrius Johnson challenging why Conor still wants to fight when he has all this money. I'll talk about that also because I think that is, I think people see a person made X amount of dollars and they're like, yeah, dude, the guy's got all the money in the world. And you're like, guys, question. Do you think a private jet is free? Like, do you think what's Conor been doing for the last month? He's just sailing on the French Riviera on his Lamborghini boat. Just got staff, they're cruising around. They're going, beach to beach partying. It's like, how much do you think every day costs doing that? Like, the guy spends money, So, anyway, we're going to talk more about that. And then I can't help myself, man. I have to, he's got a new sponsor too, but I got to talk about this story right here because Dillon Danis challenges MMA guru to a fight. I was like, no way. Because in my opinion, you literally have the 2 most successful trolls of the social media age in combat sports. And now they're going back and forth at each other. And it's hilarious because they're both just, well, at least Guru is just trolling, Dillon Danis straight back. Of course, Dillon Danis is trolling also. But anyway, we're going to go through that story because I think that's going to be relatively entertaining for everybody. So, that's what we're going to do. Go ahead and buckle up. You know what I mean? And subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Look at my face. This is how much I love combat sports. You want to subscribe, right? So let's jump right into this thing. Let's actually start right here. Okay, so Dillon Danis challenges MMA guru after controversial comments on BJJ being fake and gay. Hey, controversial comments, dude. Really? BJJ is fake and gay. And so some people are like, yeah, it is. And other people are, no, it's not. It's like, man, this is a real controversy. Is BJJ fake and gay? It's like, I don't know, man. Is it fake? It's like, well, it's obviously not fake. It's like, is it gay? It's like, I mean, it is objectively pretty gay. But it's like one of those things that it's gay that you have to get that, like kind of in each other's space. But now I can shatter a person's arm with essentially no effort, But nonetheless, every single competent mixed martial artist on earth is high level in jiu-jitsu or else they get exposed, for the most part. So obviously it's not fake. You think Guru doesn't know that? Anyway, okay, so here's after embarrassing himself against Logan Paul last year, Dillon Danis is going after a much easier target. What? An easier target in what? Like, certainly not in the game they're actually playing. But anyway, recently Dillon Danis is a mud monster, though. That's one of the best metaphors for that I've ever heard about the big guy. Where they're like, well, gosh, they charged him with an assault in New York on a lady, from 35 years ago. And it's like, it doesn't matter. How could you have elected a guy who did that? It's like he's a mud monster. Okay. It does not matter what you throw at the big guy. It just, like, you can't get him dirty because he's made out of mud, man. That's Dillon Danis also. Recently, the former Conor McGregor coach found himself in another bizarre feud, this time with online personality and perpetual troll, the MMA guru who labeled Danis' sport of choice both fake and gay, after seeing Bryce Mitchell put jiu-jitsu specialist Kron Gracie to sleep with a nasty third-round elbow at UFC 310. So, okay, here's Guru's tweet. He says, Bryce Mitchell puts that name merchant, dude, Kron Gracie to sleep in round 3 after 2 rounds of Kron trying to embarrass the sport live on a UFC pay-per-view main card. No ability on the feet, and despite Rogan's attempts to make it seem so, no threat on the ground. BJJ is fake and gay. Like, you need to obviously be able to, it doesn't matter actually if you can or can't differentiate, but there are things that Guru says that are serious about fighting, and there are other things that are him being funny, okay? Calling BJJ fake and gay is a person being funny about the fact that it sucks to watch a person who's just going to pull guard the entire fight, not do anything exciting, right? Where if you don't know jiu-jitsu, you're literally watching it just like, what is he doing? You know? Like, this is if you don't know jiu-jitsu, how else would you watch this? Like a guy who just grabs, pulls guard, and you're like, oh my God. Even if you do know jiu-jitsu, it's like you're just going to jump guard from there, you know? But obviously, anyone with a brain knows that the reason why Bryce Mitchell was not in as much danger as someone else would have been is because he's also a super elite black belt in jiu-jitsu. And Kron almost armbarred him anyway. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, that doesn't make it exciting to watch an MMA fight with Kron Gracie in it. Now, the reason why Kron was fighting against Bryce is because the UFC loves Bryce Mitchell, and so does everybody else. And Bryce Mitchell took one of the most hellacious knockouts in the history of the sport in his last fight against Josh Emmett. And the UFC's like, let's ease him back in because they love Bryce, and because we love Bryce, and because it's also the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to put him in any danger of a knockout. So you put him in with Kron Gracie, who is no danger of knocking him out whatsoever, because we all know how he's going to fight. But the idea that jiu-jitsu is not real is obviously idiotic. He knows that's not true. Everybody knows it's not true. Okay, so the disrespect towards towards jiu-jitsu caught the attention of Danis, who quickly snapped back at Guru and challenged him to a scrap on the mat. Let's spar live, and I'll have you screaming for your life while I teabag you. Guru said, the fact that you succeeded in BJJ is nothing but more proof that it's a made-up martial art for unathletic gay nerd gay nerd victims of life that can only implement it on people that don't have any knowledge of it. I'd Boston crab you in 3 minutes. Bring it. Okay, hang on. I don't remember what a Boston crab is.
Oh, Boston crab!
No!
Boston crab!
Boston
oh
crab!
My God!
Oh, he's got it! It's the
unbelievable!
And the walls of Jericho finishes it!
Never.
So what? It's like a standing backwards foot lock or what? Like, I assume, like what you're submitting is it's like a straight foot lock or an ankle lock, right? Like if you don't tap, you're going to break the ankle, I assume. That's what it looks like. That's hilarious. And for the record, Guru has about as good a chance of pulling off a submission on fucking Dillon Danis as he does of winning the 40-yard dash in the Olympics. Okay, that's never going to happen. However, that's fucking hilarious. Anyway, okay, let's move right along, though. Let's move on to an actual important story in the, I guess that depends on who you ask, but let's talk about Conor McGregor. And let's start with the story about Demetrius Johnson questioning why Conor still wants to fight. It's a good question, I guess. I know why. But at least I think I know why. He loves to fight. And also, definitely is going to want the money now. But he says, why does millionaire Conor McGregor still want to fight? Questions Demetrius Johnson. I don't know how much cocaine is. That's pretty funny, dude. Come on. Conor had to admit that he did blow in the court case. Come on, dude. He can't be mad at Demetrius Johnson for making that joke. It's not like everybody didn't know. That's funny. At least I think it's funny. And I've had Conor's back throughout this whole thing. So I think it's okay for me to point out that a person, having to go in court and admit to doing cocaine as a professional athlete, it's funny every time. It's funny when it's John Jones. It's funny when it's Conor. It's funny when it's Michael Irvin. It's fun. Literally, it's funny. It doesn't matter who it is. Pro athlete doing blow. It's funny every time. Okay. Now, Demetrius Johnson recently questioned why Conor McGregor is so adamant, but just for the record, Conor got really mad about this, okay? Like, and the reason I was like, I looked into this, I'm like, why is Conor so mad at Demetrius Johnson? Because I saw some of the, like what Demetrius said, and I was like, he sounds very complimentary of Conor. Apparently, I missed the thing about the blow, and Conor didn't like that. So, Demetrius Johnson, he recently questioned why Conor McGregor is so adamant about returning to the octagon. Johnson pointed out McGregor's accomplishments during his stint with the UFC, claiming that the Irishman does not require a paycheck anymore. That's a very, like, interesting assumption, dude. You know? Very interesting assumption. Because, again, Conor spends money. Now, McGregor made headlines last month after being found liable, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk more about that when we talk about Conor fleeing the country. Which I support, by the way. So Johnson has asked McGregor why he is so persistent on making an MMA comeback during an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show. Mighty Mouse joked about the Irishman supposedly not having enough money to consume illegal substances while highlighting the wealth that McGregor has accumulated over the years of fighting. He said, Conor McGregor, if I was to ask him, why are you still fighting? What makes you want to come back? You have all the money in the world that you could ever want, an extra 10 to 20 million that should not affect the 500 million he's made off selling. I don't know how much cocaine is. I don't know, but it can't be that expensive. I don't know. I should ask Oscar De La Hoya. Like, that's funny, dude. How's that not funny? As for the MMA scene, McGregor suffered a leg injury during yada yada. Okay, so... Oh, look at that. Well, we'll come right back to this about him wanting to move out of Ireland, which again I support. But check this out. Okay, so here's what Conor said in response, because he got really mad, dude. Conor stumbled upon Johnson's words soon after they were shared on X, and Mystic Mac had a quirky response for Johnson. Even though he has amassed more than $6 million, McGregor called him the lowest earner of all time in another tweet. How do you know that that's how much Demetrius Johnson has? Lowest earner of all time. He also said, how much does an Xbox cost? Lastly, the Irish mixed martial artist dragged Dana White into the scuffle. He reflected on the trade-off between UFC and One Championship. That was indeed the trade that sent Mighty Mouse to One Championship and brought Ben Askren to the UFC. Needless to say, it was one of the worst mistakes White has ever made. McGregor continued his flurry of tweets and wrote, traded for Askren, ha ha ha, bye Felicia. McGregor's money has often attracted attention, and Johnson commented on that on several occasions. He claimed that every other fighter should take notes on and focus on earning from other sources than the MMA cage. He was being complimentary of Conor, you know. He emphasized that the fact. Okay, anyway, you know, so Mighty Mouse says, can I make more money from building the YouTube, the Mighty merch project coming out in 2025? Can I make more money doing that stuff than fighting? When I do that, that's it. You made it. That's dope. Like, Conor made more money from Proper 12 and all that shit that's going on than he has fighting. That's amazing in my book. That's what every athlete should strive for. Correct. All right, correct. That is, again, why I have such a huge problem with what is going on in Ireland with Conor McGregor. Because, again, like, at the end of the day, what Conor has amassed is due to what he accomplished fighting, okay? Like, I could talk about all these other topics, but in my heart, am like a combat sports guy, okay? And so I see what Conor accomplished as he earned it with blood, dude. And this lying bee took it away from him because she didn't have she's not the kind of person that would just not cheat on her husband, dude, and her kid. She's the kind of person who lie, could do blow all night, be in a penthouse with a celebrity overnight, sleep with him, go down, lie the whole time, sleep with his friend, and then when she gets caught, she'll cry, oh, I got graped, and destroy his life. She's garbage, dude. She is garbage, and I will never waver on that. And now Conor has to leave the country. Let's talk about that. Relocating to the United States as commercial damage piles up. Okay, so first of all, look at this. Conor McGregor pumping a new, he's pumping Bucked Up, which is obviously a energy drink. Now, I personally am going to read this as he needs money. You know what I mean? Like, why would he be looking for sponsorships if it didn't make any difference that he lost all these sponsors? Like, of course it matters, man. You know what I mean? Like, do you see the Fertitas out like, hey man, I've got a big following on social media. Like, what can we do? Like, Conor was making a fortune with these sponsors. you know? That's why this is so messed up that he lost all of these. I mean, look, like at the end of the day, I will fully acknowledge that had he not had all of these incidents that I do believe are true, that were super bad behavior, I don't think people would have believed this story that this girl came with because of the CCTV. But all these other stories, so people are like, yeah, I guess so you can just ignore the fact that, Nikita Hand is behaving in a way that literally no rape victim in the history of the world, nor in the future of the world, would ever behave, you know? But anyway, let's get into this story, though, because Conor is going to move to the United States. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Okay, so Conor McGregor eyes U.S. relocation as commercial damages pile up. According to reports, former two-division UFC champion Conor McGregor is weighing up a move to the United States on a permanent basis amid the commercial damage to his business empire after the Dublin native was found civilly liable of assaulting Nikita Hand during proceedings at the High Court last month. So McGregor, a former undisputed lightweight champion and featherweight gold holder under the banner of the UFC, was found civilly liable for assaulting Miss Hand during a civil case in the Irish High Court last month, with the plaintiff alleging McGregor raped her during an incident at the Beacon Hotel in December of 2018. So we've talked about this before. He got cracked for 250,000 euros, then another 1.5 million euros by the judge, who's also talking about potentially fining him because he called it a kangaroo court, which it was. And it's a verdict that he plans to appeal through his legal representatives, but he has been dropped by Proximo Spirits, who purchased the majority stake in Proper Number 12 Irish whiskey. In the days following, a number of Irish retailers and others in the United Kingdom confirmed they would no longer be stocking Proper Number 12 Irish whiskey as well as forged Irish stouts. It's insane, dude. Oh my God, that is just like... So Conor McGregor, though, is contemplating a potential full-time move to the United States. I support this, by the way. And according to reports from the Irish Mirror, a source close to the mixed martial arts fighter revealed how Conor McGregor is now weighing a permanent relocation to North America as a result. So here's a quote. Conor has been completely rattled by the devastating fallout as a result of losing the civil case. He is going to appeal the verdict to clear his name. He is genuinely very upset by it and the manner in which he feels he has been betrayed. I understand why he feels that way, of course, you know, but in the defense of people who are, you know, going heavy against him that, you know, used to have his back, if they believe that he really did this, like, of course they're going to act like this. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, you know, think about that for a second. I'm just, you know, like if I was talking to Conor, I would be like, just in their defense, think about what this chick said that you did. Like, imagine if you really did that. Would you be shocked that people were like, I'm not supporting that guy anymore? Not only am I not supporting him, I'm completely against him now. She said that you choked her unconscious and beat her while you took it from her. She said that you slammed your in her ass. Okay? Which is interesting because she had the tampon, you know. Why would he even needed to do that? I thought he took it up there too, you know. Anyway, yeah, I mean, if I thought that he did that, you'd think I'd be supportive of him in any capacity whatsoever? I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I would feel so, like if somebody was like, okay, hey, Jesse, there's a video of the penthouse from that night. How much do you want to bet that Conor did or did not actually do this? I would be like, I mean, whatever you want, I would bet that he didn't. And if it turned out he did, I would be so shocked. I would be like, because again, she is downstairs hours afterwards, hanging out, partying, calling Conor. You know, gosh, I wonder hey, James, what do you think Conor's doing? What do you think Conor's doing? He's like, I don't know. What do you think he's doing? She's like, probably recovering from just beating the living shit out of me while he graped me. Because that's what he was doing, you know. I was up there just getting beaten up and graped. And James like, Jesus, do you want to go home or something? She's like, no, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm actually totally fine. Let's have another drink. Let's party. Matter of fact, I'm feeling a little frisky, James. You want to go back upstairs? Why would we go upstairs? To have sex, of course. Isn't that what every girl who gets violently beaten and raped wants to do? Let's go have some intercourse, James. Come on. Get out of here, man. The commercial damage in Britain and Ireland has been massive, with the retailers refusing to sell his Stout and Proper 12 whiskey. However, the court case has not been as damaging commercially in the United States, where most of his fans are standing by him. He wants out of Ireland for the moment and to move back to the States.